So last night we got the build sheet for the truck, along with this outline showing the different groups. Some of the stuff it says is that the dealer was Peterbilt of Tampa, which we knew it was out of Florida, so that's no surprise. And it has the original motor. I'm not going to go through all of this just because it's like 60 pages. The 4 1/4 cat there, and the serial number matches. 1450 torque, 13 speed, the fire air cleaners. There you can see rectangular headlight, front bumper there, along with fog lights and the stand-up sleeper. Now, as far as I can tell, it calls it a high cube sleeper, but in the actual parts list for the sleeper, you can tell by the cabinet assembly that it is for the stand-up, because it is left-hand, right-hand closet, and all that good stuff. So that's pretty nice. Thanks, Cam. Just gonna pull the exhaust off and inspect the turbo. I'm assuming the turbo is good. It looks pretty much new here. It hasn't seen that much heat. Now this relay here is something that was just added to the motor. Basically, it steps down the power of the alternator to something a little bit safer, to have wires running instead of your heavy alternator cables. But having it right here is a little risky. These studs are well outside of the frame. You can see here where it was rubbing against the hood. So we're not going to have this box here. Alright, I'll give you the once over of what's happened since I last updated you. Pulled the lines off the heater core, pulled the transmission, the clutch, the flywheel, pulled a bunch more of those lines out, pulled the transmission cooler, pulled the intake piping, pulled the elephant ears off, pulled the air filters, pulled the exhaust, took all the taps off for the heater core because we're going to set it up differently and want 45-degree taps on instead of the threaded handle type that take forever and burn your hands twice before you ever get them open or closed. Here's the clutch, and you can see here where it was hitting the bolt heads. Doesn't have any broken springs or anything, but we're gonna put a 2050 clutch in, and in order to do that, you have to machine the flywheel bigger to take the bigger plate. Another thing on the to-do list is to turn these spiders so we can put parking brakes on the rear axle. Right now, it's only the front axle with park. Alright, so you learn something new every day. This axle and spider combination can only be set up with a pancake pod on it, because there are actually only 9 holes on the axle. This is for an ABS sensor, and 9 holes on the spider. So on this style, there's actually 16 holes, so you've got a lot more granular adjustment on it. So I cleaned it up, and I'll clean the spider up and put it back on and put a new pod on it. Call it good. If I'm ever on a hill, I'll just pull the trailer brakes and everything will be fine. Alright, we'll replace the pots on the front axle as well. It's using the blue clips. Those little blue clips you use to jump from one wire to another. It's just a fire hazard. You gotta do it right. And then stuff like that. See how disgusting that is from those blue clips? It's just unacceptable. He had a massive alarm system in here hooked to the windows, and the doors had a big horn on the outside on the firewall, a 12-volt battery, a whole bunch of computer boxes in here, wires running to every little thing. So that's been quite a job to get yanked out of the dash. And we also have to pull the HVAC box out. It's on its last leg rust-wise. One thing I gotta say is working on these 359s is so easy compared to any other truck I've ever run. So other than the setback with that Spider, it was a fairly productive day. We got the fifth wheel slid cleaned up where it had been sitting because it wasn't actually painted in here. So that's freed up, good to go. For working on stuff like that, get a Schrader valve with a push connector on it so you can air up individual systems whenever you want when the truck's all disassembled, whether it's your interaxles or the fifth wheel, what have you, power windows. That works a treat. I took the cover off the transmission here, and we weren't going to use it. It was just out of curiosity. And you can see somewhere in here, yeah, you can see how nasty that oil is right in there. Looks like muddy water, and see all the rust there. And on those counter shafts, and then the gears are pretty iffy. There's a chipped tooth right there. I haven't really gone through it and looked for more chipped teeth. But you see how that there on the counter shaft and on this counter shaft. Well, it's not so bad on the lower counter shaft, but the upper counter shaft is super gungy. So this thing's basically a write-off, but again, it's a low torque transmission, so that's not really an issue. There's not much left of the floor and the HVAC. I was gonna pull the upholstery out tonight, but I ran out of time. Other than that, I basically took the wipers off. That's not too hard to do. You might have to cut the shafts. They do seize up a bit, but part of the problem is the spring pressure from the arm will actually jam the shaft. So to slide the arm off the shaft here, just because of the spring, it'll actually put pressure on the shaft and make it a lot harder to get those off than, or feel a lot harder than it actually is if you put pressure on it the right way. And a lot of general tidying up. A good day. We'll be back at it tomorrow.